Well, good morning. This is Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. We're talking this morning about in the beginning. Everything at some point has a new beginning. Now, the beginning of something new is for that something to be something, to do something, and all I can picture kind of in my mind right now as I start, second I started speaking, this fan going around over my head, I pictured the wheel. The wheel, when the wheel came in, was something new. It was in a man's mind that he needed a wheel for one reason or another. And whatever reason it was, he needed a wheel. And then he discovered in order to make something work, you needed a pair of wheels for balance. And as he discovered that a pair of wheels worked good, and it came to the point in one time, a little later on, after inventing the wheel to roll or to do something with, or as a grinding stone was a wheel. And then he saw that wheel, after making it a grinding stone or whatever, could be used for other things. And this is man's growing in a human race, growing and learning invention. And the wheel for the chariot had two wheels, and it was horse-drawn. And the thing started out with two wheels. And then it became later on in time a four-wheel thing, and you used four wheels and made it a buggy, and then you could haul more than one person or more things on it than a chariot could. And so we see a process of growing. Now that process of growing came about by man's intelligence. The intelligence of man was given to him by the Creator God. Now, we read this morning, we went over into Genesis, and we read about in the beginning in the Old Testament. Now, we're going to move up to the New Testament, and the Bible starts out in the New Testament with a book called Matthew, one Mark, one Luke, and then John. These guys were four of the chosen men that Jesus chose to follow him to walk across this earth for a period of time. And as Jesus started his ministry at 30 years old, and for 3 years he walked across this earth, and he chose a group of men. And these guys were chosen men of Jesus Christ. Now, when he chose this John that wrote this book, he chose a man that was going to fall in love with him, not only spiritually, but with his person, the person of Jesus Christ. Now, you know, I study behind lots and lots of people, and most of those people, I will never know their person. I know what they say. I know what their brain says. I know their capability in a sense of their activity in the Bible and in the book and what they know and the essence of how they live. But I do not know their person. I do not know them personally. If perhaps I was around them every day, I may not even particularly personally like them, but I know this: they have found a way in Jesus Christ to live a inside, satisfactory, happy, everyday, good life, to be able to get up in the Lord. I love the fact that yesterday I'm painting. I'm out working and I'm painting, and a lady walked by and she said, "You've got to be the happiest painter I've ever seen. Wow. What a statement. I want to be the happiest person on the earth. I want to be the happiest person. I don't want to be a sad-faced, grumpy person all day. I want to be a happy person. I want to pass on comfort and happiness and enjoy life. I work hard, and I enjoy working hard, but I work easy. You just said you work hard. I do, but I work easy. I work steady and hard, but easy. God allows me to perform in a manner to where it's easy. Painting is easy for me. Why? I do not rely on myself. Every brush full of paint I put out, I'm praising the Lord. When I'm cutting out to a ceiling, cutting down a door casing, cutting around a window, whatever I'm cutting around with a paintbrush in my hand, it's prayer time. It's talking with the Lord time. It's not even thinking about that which I'm doing as much as it is thanking the Lord that I can do what I'm doing, that I can slap the brush up there and follow a line straight down a door casing or whatever, and the Lord allows me to be able to pull that brush in a manner that is professional. Now, we need to be professional in the Bible. If we're saved and we're following God, we need to know what we're reading. Now, I know how to paint. I've procured painting. Why? Because I've asked the Lord to help me do it. Is it something I learned on my own? Yes, in a sense, and no, in a sense. I started out doing it, but I asked the Lord. I yielded my body to Him and asked Him some 38 years ago, God, you give me the talent to paint that I can make a living and a good living, that I'd be able to use that living for you. And I do. By the way, the money that comes through these hands and this house and this wife of mine is God's money. Her and I have a mutual agreement that the money we have belongs to the Lord Jesus Christ, does not belong to us to just squander away, even though it looks like we squander it away sometimes. The Lord allows us to give away more, though, than many people make. Matter of fact, it's a funny thing. In our time of want and need and do not have much, and the Lord allows us to give away more than we use on our own bill sometimes, or to use. And we have to be careful, though, that we don't squander that, but use it properly. And so, anyway, here we are back in the Bible. Let's go to the book of John this morning. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Fourth book in the New Testament. See what it says in the very first verse. It says in the very first verse, in the beginning, and you know how I study 3-4 words at a time, and I get in my brain what I just looked at and what I said. And I like to know in the beginning, if I didn't do anything today, but go all day today for 8 solid hours working and say in the beginning, in the beginning, in the beginning, in the beginning. Where am I going to start? I'm going to start in the beginning. Now, I'm going to establish that in my mind, in my heart, that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. Wow. This verse, if you took it, meditated on it for 2-3 days a week, meditate on this one verse for 1 week. How many times did you have to say the alphabet before you could say it all at one time? Many, many times. That's the way you learn the Bible. See you next time, Brother Peter.